Wellness Getaways. I'm your host, Cheryl McKinnon. And joining me today is a friend of mine that has traveled this media journey with me from the very beginning. I had the good fortune of meeting Deb Ryan with Air North, the Yukon's airline, about 15 years ago when we were just launching the media coverage of Great Getaways with Global TV BC and in the Vancouver Sun and Province here in British Columbia in Canada. And Deb and I hit it off immediately. And when you meet her, you are going to feel the same way. She is a very knowledgeable, entertaining, warm, beautiful human being. And I'm really, really delighted that she's able to join us today because there's a lot going on in the Yukon and there's so much going on with the airline industry. And Deb is here to speak about it, in particular with her airline, Air North. Deb, I'm welcoming you to the show. I'm so glad to have you back.
Thank you, Cheryl, and good morning to everyone out there. It's a real honor to be on your show, Cheryl.
Well, thank you. The honor is mine. I love what you're doing, Deb. I love what the airline is focused on right now as you go forward. And, you know, before we get into a little bit of Air North, this has been an interesting time, my friend. It's surreal. How have you been keeping well?
My goodness, you have put that in a nutshell just perfectly. Wellness is so important to us all, you know, no matter what time we're in, and in these pandemic times, even more so. And I find connecting with community has been gold for myself personally and our family. We live in Whitehorse, Yukon, and this summer we've been able to travel to many of our communities and really get out in our backyard and enjoy the territory in its fullness. We have been able to do some RV camping and do some staying at some small lodges around the territory. And in terms of, you're asking the question, what do we do when we get out there? We're avid mountain bikers, and we love to paddle, we love to camp, we love to hike. And all those simple pleasures are at our doorstep, 5 minutes really from our backyard. We didn't really have to go too far, but we have made a point of going to quite a number of our communities, and it's been fantastic.
Well, and I have been fortunate to be up there as your guest a few times, as you know, with courtesy of the airlines and many of your stakeholders and tourism suppliers within the communities up there. And every time I tell people, oh, I'm going to the Yukon, faces light up. People are just amazed there, and it amazes me how few people from my backyard of British Columbia have not had the opportunity to go and explore what's there. And to me, it's one of the epitomes of wellness, which is getting away, unplugging, and as you say, getting out in your backyard and exploring the beautiful hikes that you've got. And I know you're an avid mountain biker. That's how you stay so gorgeous. But what a great opportunity through what we've all been through to share this with people. And now that we can travel between our provinces, the territory, pardon me, and our province of British Columbia, I think it opens up a world of opportunity for people to get away in the coming months. We're cresting on fall, and the next thing you know, it's going to be winter. So what is that going to look like up there?
Well, the pandemic has been a moment of reflection, I think, for all Canadians and people around the world. It's not just a Canadian problem, but like my father said when we were children, the sun doesn't rise and set where we are exactly now. One of the beautiful things for me that's presented itself from the pandemic at this point from our healthcare officials and government is that they have created this unique travel bubble for the Yukon and British Columbia. And honestly, if people listening today can take one thing from today's talk, what an opportunity that is. When I say our backyard, I mean our backyard in the Yukon and British Columbia. And as you say, many of our friends in BC have not ventured above the 60th parallel yet. Honestly, you must put this on your travel schedule. This is the aha moment I think many travelers have been waiting for. And I've spent most of my 43-year career here in the territory. I started with Princess Cruises many years ago. and welcome many guests into the territory, as that was my job to do the inside tours. And always at that time, the majority of the passengers would be coming here from the US market, small percentage of Canadians. However, here it is 2020 and going into 21, 22, 23, as we are living with this pandemic condition. Hopefully, British Columbia and Yukon, we can keep our health and wellness in balance, and there will be the opportunity for people to move around safely. Social distancing and masks are required and such, but the territory has gone to great lengths to follow all the recommendations and have developed incredible protocols throughout our travel industry in our airline to have the safest travel possible for those who are finding themselves traveling during these pandemic times. Going forward, of course, these protocols are all going to be there for the better of all of our wellness and keeping us safe. And it's our great hope that sometime over the next months that the health professionals are going to find some solutions for the immediate problem so that we can speed up our travel plans. But as we move towards that, and people that are thinking about the future, where am I going to go? Please think about coming to Whitehorse, Dawson City, Tagish, Carcross, Atlin, Watson Lake, Old Crow. These are all magnificent places to experience here in the Yukon Territory, and we have many other communities. So in a nutshell, at the moment, we at Air North Yukon's airline are really respecting our communities and all of our employees who work for us and the people we serve. We're very dialed in on Air North's Care First program and our airports and such, creating incredible ease of travel. I was just reading some digital posts this morning from people who traveled with us in the last couple of days, people saying they felt very safe in the airports that we transferred them through the Whitehorse Airport, Victoria, and Vancouver in particular. So kudos to the airports and for the service on board, all the protocols that we have so that people can safely travel. And those who are coming to the Yukon for the first time have been raving about their experience. And again, I go back to you, Cheryl, because you came here 15 years ago, and it was an aha moment for you and the team from Global when everyone stepped into our Beringia Museum, our McBride Museum. We toured you around the Yukon River Valley in the Whitehorse area. We took you out because you were here in the tail end of winter, early spring onto the ice at Marsh Lake and had an opportunity to watch the sky at night for the Aurora Borealis. All of these things are here. The art and culture is fascinating. The First Nations cultures, we have 14 First Nations who speak 11 different languages, and they have very distinctive art that when you dial in and start learning about all of this rich history that's just sitting here waiting for British Columbians to come and experience, it's going to probably be one of the best travel experiences that your listeners have ever put on their in their travel basket. So
Deb, just sorry to interrupt there. I just wanted to say that and ask you, people always say to me, so why, look where we live in BC. And I said, it's that, but it's so much more, isn't it? It's the wide open spaces, it's the colors. I've been there in the spring into summer, and as you say, and in the dead of winter, and when it's so cold, but it's so clear and so stunning. It's as if the air was given a little boost of something really special. And the people,
it is definitely the nature and the wildlife are remarkable. For anyone with a photography or artistic eye, the colors of all seasons are, I have no words. They will move you. They are so spectacular. The daylight in summer, in contrast to the winter, I must talk about that just for a moment, because our daylight in summer, we're over 20 hours in Whitehorse. So you never really see darkness until September. So we're just going into September now, and it's, kind of gets dark around between 9:30 and 10 at night. And in Vancouver, it's dark much earlier down at the 50th and below. We in wintertime, the shortest day of the year, of course, the winter solstice on December 21st, we get daylight just before 10 in the morning, and then darkness is around 4 or just before 4 in the afternoon. So that's our shortest day. But after that day, we start gaining daylight, minutes every day. And by February, it's quite bright during the daytime. And overall, our winter sunshine is remarkable during the daytime. So compared to the interior of BC and the Lower Mainland, you can come to the Yukon and actually expect during the winter months to see a lot of sunshine. We do highly recommend that you do bring layered clothing, because our temperature range, I find our winters are quite lovely, but I like to spend a fair bit of my time outdoor cross-country skiing and such. So perfect conditions for that. In today's world, all the younger generation are rolling around town on these fat tire bikes all winter long. I find it amazing, but this is the world that we live in now. People who come during the winter time overwhelmingly love to try dog sledding, and we have fabulous dog sled operations right in the Whitehorse area, easy to get to. And if somebody wants to explore something really extraordinary, Paul Josie up in Old Crow has an amazing dog sledding operation, and a great travel experience for people who really want to go, the extra distance. And that is the community of Old Crow, where the Vantakwichin First Nation people, that is their traditional lands. And they happen to be almost a 49.9% partner in the airline, in Air North Yukon's airline. So many remarkable stories here in the territory, from travel adventures to understanding the business and economics and the people of the territory.
Well, and there's a marvelous collaboration between Air North and the Indigenous communities, as you said. And they're moving forward with you to package so that people can get away. As I'm listening to you, I'm thinking, especially this year, and we have no idea, hopefully not many years longer, but I think this is going to stay the way it is for a while. So we need to get out, really, truly need to get out. And the Yukon represents a tremendous opportunity for an easy getaway from Vancouver or Victoria, and to experience Indigenous cultural experiences that are unique and separate from our Indigenous friends and neighbors and nations here in British Columbia. There's a tremendous opportunity for people to hop on the flights with Air North and get away for a few days, because all your resorts are open, your hotels, everybody's there. They've got the safety protocols in place.
Absolutely. And, going forward, right now the pandemic is of great concern to all of us. And of course, we respectfully are doing our best, I think, as Canadians, coast to coast. As an airline, we are one of quite a number of Canadian carriers who are essential air services for our region. I think many Canadians are just being presented with some of this information, as a lot of the North has been very under the radar for the average Canadian. I grew up in Ontario, and I had no knowledge of Northern Canada other than I was a geography buff, so I did know about glaciation and such. So when I arrived in the Yukon in the 70s, it wasn't a surprise to me to see the terrain, but I had no concept of this incredible air, the climate being semi-arid, desert-like, the daylight in summer, the daylight in winter, and the cultural components that make up the Yukon territory. It is fascinating. It is a great travel experience to plan for sure. And I think, in 2021 and going forward, these opportunities for British Columbians are going to be more on their minds. And your point regarding our First Nation tourism, right now, unfortunately the pandemic has hit, but our First Nation tourism is just exploding now in terms of their potential. We have many gifted people in the cultural sector, heritage sector, and now in the packaging. for tours and cultural experiences that we didn't have before. So in my early days with Princess Cruises, we didn't get to give those experiences to visitors who were coming through. However, over the course of the last 20 years, our First Nations in the Yukon Territory are really evolving, and it's an exciting time. We have new cultural centers in Whitehorse. The Pond and Dun Cultural Center on the Yukon waterfront is fabulous, must visit. In Carcross, in Teslin, in Dawson, a new cultural center facility in Oak Crow, and so on. So these are things to look forward to. And, you know, for listeners, they can call the Air North, our call center. Our staff are really super knowledgeable. Our Yukon tourism, easy to reach, to get in-depth material. Of course, in today's digital world, easy to tap into the websites of all. But I would highly recommend also that people who are interested in this aspect to go to the Yukon First Nation Tourism Association website as well, which has rich content about the First Nation culture.
And very inspiring. It gets you motivated to do it. Interesting you talk a bit there about the culture and the art and history, because it's a known fact that art affects both the creator and the receiver with art. It is so instrumental in our well-being, and what just a fabulous getaway for our overall well-being, mind, body, and spirit. Tell me just a little bit before we wrap up here. Boy, half an hour goes so fast. What the experience is like on the airline right now, because I have to tell you, and you know this, you probably get tired of me saying it all the time, but I'm still going to say it. You recently won an award, which I'd like you to just touch on. And you also have one of the most fabulous experiences in the air. And I'm curious, because although the invitation's been extended, I haven't taken it yet, but I'm going to come and see you this winter for sure. What is the in-flight experience like now? You know, the cookies that we used to get, and the amazing food. You work with local chefs. Honestly, the Air North flight experience is outstanding. So I'm a champion. I want to get more people up there with you.
Well, thanks for that lead in, Cheryl. We were very surprised when we received a call several months ago from the #1 consumer award TripAdvisor folks that they were to advise us that Air North Yukon's airline had been voted Canada's #1 airline for 2019. And, you know, everybody across our network was absolutely humbled by this, that those who fly with us would bring this great honor to the airline. So why, I guess we'll step one step backwards to what was the Air North product pre-pandemic that earned that, and certainly the legendary Northern hospitality. Our people bring every day their A-team game to the air, on the ground, in our call center, in all our bases, solving problems for people who need to travel, certainly making people's vacation sweeter, because travelers in today's air market just are not accustomed to all these great attributes that Air North offers in our regular product, like 2 checked bags up to 100 pounds, complimentary in-flight food and beverage. So all of our beverage service, which, you know, there's a wide range of teas, coffee, soft drinks, juices, et cetera, that are all complimentary. And then our Air North Flight Kitchen every day produces, you know, 1,000 to 2,000 meals, depending on how many scheduled flights and charter flights we have operating. So that would be a light breakfast in the afternoon, a hot sandwich, followed by a warm cookie service. In the evening, we have a nice little charcuterie with meat and cheese, or a vegetarian option, and so on. So people really love these things. And our flight crews and our check-in teams at the airport are so welcoming and so um, people tell us, they tell us in many ways that I can't tell you today, other than you must fly with us and experience firsthand how meaningful it is to be welcomed and to feel so well on board an aircraft when you're traveling. So this is something we take great pride in. It is the DNA and the essence of the people who work in the airline. We're really proud of them. Every base from Old Crow to Vancouver to Kelowna to Victoria to Whitehorse to Mayo to Dawson City. All of these great people come to work every day with that passion and deliver that great service. To adapt and pivot for the pandemic, immediately we took our very stylish modern uniform, which we won awards for, and we transitioned our flight crew into the northern sort of bush era uniform, which is really a flight suit that zippers up. And so that meant that the flight crews only have to wear one piece of clothing, so it's easy for them to launder. We have two things that we have to keep in balance. We have to make sure we're taking care of the health care and wellness of our flight crew and our passengers. Mm-hmm. So less garments and being well covered is highly recommended in COVID. And this is highly unusual in the airline world. Many of the airlines chose to put disposable gowns on, and we didn't want to do that because we did not want to contribute more to the landfill problem and take away from medical services and such. We also had a local supplier design our face masks, and the flight crews, the flight attendants are wearing Northern Light masks, and the pilots are wearing a Yukon River mask. So we have summer and winter season both represented in the flight deck and in the cabin. These are both quite welcoming and help soothe a little as passengers come, because as you can imagine, those who need to travel or choose to travel, there's a little bit of soothing that needs to happen. And I think our teams are hitting that right chord. It's very welcoming, and those things are soothing. In terms of the cabin sanitization, we immediately went, our cabins, by the way, pre this, that's another thing that customers commented on. Our cabins are so meticulous. Our cabin grooming people have always been amazing. They just do the deep clean every day, and our cabins really sparkle, and our maintenance teams keep things sparkling as well. So now we have upgraded even more to using these electrostatic foggers and a hospital grade sanitizing fluid that's used. And this is really fantastic, because it's the same kind of product that would be used in a hospital, a school, etc. So that happens. Of course, the plexiglass you're going to expect to have that when you check in at the airport. We do encourage people to use all the technology you can, check in the line in advance, and take care of everything that you can with the technology, so that you have as much touchless contact as possible during your travels. The health experts are recommending that to us. We have hand sanitizer all along the way, as well as the airports all. So travelers don't have to worry so much about those things. Sadly, we had to remove our award-winning Yukon North of Ordinary magazine from our cabin, because again, that's just another point of touching. However, people who want to get that, because that's another phenomenal reference for people, can go online to Yukon North of Ordinary and order a subscription. This magazine is a must if you're going to come and travel in the Yukon, because it will have stories and information that no travel guide will have. So I highly recommend people to dial into Yukon North of Ordinary. In addition, we had to dial down our meal service temporarily, and we're still in that mode because we're still in this critical phase of the pandemic. So right now our service is beverages, water. So everybody is given bottled water on board and a light snack. So our typical hot meal service or cold charcuterie or warm cookie is stayed for the moment. But our team is looking forward to launching that when we can. On a local level, our flight kitchen is going full bore with they are producing frozen dinners and all of our desserts. I was just at the local Wykes Independent last night and bought a sampler of our cheesecake. The cheesecake is, our cheesecake and our warm cookie service. People love both of these items. And I picked up a package because, we're not serving it on board. But all of our customers here in the Yukon can buy these things at the local grocer, or they can order online. We actually have a full online product now, and it's with home delivery. So this is something that the
Marvelous.
flight system has been able to pivot. And again, getting back to the wellness and what are we doing, this is bringing great joy and smiles to many of our customers because they can continue to have these great meal experiences during COVID, and it's associated with all the travel that they have done in the past and plan to do in the future.
Well, and it keeps people in touch with you and the company and the pride that is with the airline, Air North, the Yukon airline. And I think that I'm just in awe listening to this. I think that this is really great and valuable information for our audience to take in, because I can see now that they're going to definitely want to get away. And I know you've worked very hard to make that experience be safe for them. And again, heartfelt congratulations on the accolades, because I know they keep coming and you and your team deserve them. So Deb Ryan, Air North, thank you. My goodness, what fabulous conversation. Really enjoyed it. And you've got my love. So I hope to see you sooner than later. I really do. And I extend my best to absolutely everybody up there. And we love you guys. So thank
you. Travel is such a luxury and a great privilege. And we welcome everybody to come and visit us. And we can't wait till you come, Cheryl. We have something special planned for you when you get here.
Okay, as long as the lights are shining, I'm happy. Those stars, I tell you. Anyways, Deb, again, my deepest thanks for joining us, and a real pleasure as always. And we're going to talk to you again real soon. Thank you.
Thank you.